Hey, I think we've started.
We are live once again.
Hello, folks. This is Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer.
And Amy Nickerson, the Queen Bee.
Welcome to what's it now, our third Facebook Live
Yes.
session.
Yep.
Just as we allow folks to realize it's 4 o'clock and they're joining us, we were just about an hour ago out beside the barn here, having a look at the bees. At that time, it was about 52 degrees. It's already dropped to 45.
Yeah.
I suspect it's going to be one of those days where the warm beehives that are not insulated, because the ones that were not insulated tended to be flying
Mm-hmm.
today. The ones that are well
Right.
insulated, they're doing some flying, but not so much.
Right.
And as things cool down, those non insulated hives can really cool quickly.
Yeah.
And so those are the ones I'd be concerned about tonight because we're going to get down to in the mid teens or
It's
something.
gonna be, and it's gonna be a cold day tomorrow too.
Yeah, so
So they.
if the what happens when a hive does that is instead of all the bees getting back into one big warm cluster, it actually gets so cold so quickly that they form lots of small
Yep.
little clusters around the hive, and each of those is too small to keep
Yep.
warm.
That's not good.
And in the teens, they'll die. Maybe briefly they'd be okay, but not when we got 2 or 3 more days of cold coming. That would really kill them off.
Yep. And I went out and checked my hives today, and of course, in the backyard, you like to see the little yellow droplets all over the place. That means
Yeah,
your bees were out flying and taking a bit of a wee, as my friend says. So yeah, no, it was a good day for that. Just hopefully they're all back and into their clusters before
yeah,
the cold part hits.
that's right.
So
So I see we're starting to get a few viewers joining us, so
welcome.
welcome. And we're going to be talking today about the three main steps to becoming a beekeeper. And these will be steps that I hope you, if you're not a beekeeper already, steps that you're in the process of taking, perhaps,
Hmm.
or if you have friends that are interested in becoming beekeepers, maybe refer them to this. It'll be up on our site. It'll be
Yep.
on this Facebook page for a while, and we'll be following up next week with more detail of becoming a beekeeper, and how to have the guidance and things to be able to follow through.
Right. So as we did on last time, like, well, actually, last time we had technical difficulties. We couldn't see our viewers or our comments, but we have fixed that. We can see
As
we've already got a
promised.
comment, and so we are going forward, and we will try to answer questions as they pop up. Not to go off topic too much. If we don't answer somebody's question, we will do it after our live session has finished, and we'll make sure we get any and all questions answered.
That's right.
So, why don't we jump right into it?
Sure. Yeah. So the first big step towards becoming a beekeeper is gathering that information
Mhm.
and committing to really a beekeeping class.
Yes.
I, as a kid, there weren't beekeeping classes I could go to, and I'd read the books and that sort of thing, and you're really shooting in the dark unless you had a mentor. You knew the theory about what you're supposed to be doing, but you hadn't necessarily had someone help you piece it all together. A beekeeping class will really help with piecing that all together, and a little
Hmm.
later on we'll go through some of the details that we put in our own classes here.
Yeah.
But the that is really the first step, an appreciation of all the things that need to be done, and then in what order they need to be done and when they should be done.
Right. And it was, and I mean, we can't stress that part enough. I took my first beekeeping classes. Actually, I took two from Peter. It was just a little over 8 years ago, and I couldn't believe, how much I didn't know and how involved it was, and I was absolutely fascinated. And that actually got the first hooks into me into becoming a beekeeper. And I can't stress how important it is to take one of those classes just to know what you're getting into, and you have some idea of what it is that you need to know.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll come back to these the
Yeah.
points of these classes shortly. The next stage after you've learned the basics of what you really need to know, it's just then taking the commitment. You're actually ordering your bees. You've the classes will usually help guide you towards where to order bees from, where
Hmm.
to get your equipment from, which equipment you might need. And so you've got a little bit of preparation time now. You get
Right.
your It's kind of fun. You're starting to put together your equipment, you're anticipating the bees there, you're painting your hives,
Yeah.
you're choosing the location that you've learned is the best place to put your hives, and you're ready for the day for picking up your bees. Now, some people might have bees shipped to them. That's always a hair-raising experience,
Yeah.
because uh, when they're being shipped to you, that can be they're out of both the beekeeper's hand and your hand. They're in the hands of the transportation gods, and all sorts can go wrong with them. But even if an inch deep of dead bees arrives in the products that you buy, they can still be okay.
Hmm.
And so don't be too disillusioned if that's where you go. It's always best if you can get in touch with a local supplier.
Absolutely.
They take all that risk for you,
Hmm.
and you're getting a product that the supplier is going to be able to stand by and
Right.
provide you with backup situation, like your queen arrives dead or something like that. If
Right.
you're getting things through the mail, that's always hair raising. So
Not only that, it terrifies the mailman when they bring you a box of buzzing bees. They're usually pretty pale when they're
that's
delivering
right.
those. So,
And they always think that bees have escaped, but in fact, what
yeah.
happens is your package of bees, or however you get your bees, they smell so good to local bees that might be flying
Right.
by that they actually hitch a ride onto it, and they actually stay on the outside of the packaging. And
Right.
so, whereas it looks like bees are escaping, it's usually actually hitchhikers that have just taken a lift.
Right. And so, number one, like we said, being important is taking that class. But I think number two, most important, is to find that local vendor. And I mean, they will be a wealth of information. You can go in there, and you're not only are you adding to the local economy, you can get your hands on. You actually see what you're buying before you buy it. You can try your protective gear on to make sure it fits. When you order online, you're never quite sure what you're going to get,
Yeah,
and that local vendor is going to be a wealth of information
yeah,
of any
for sure.
questions that you might have at the
Sure, I can
time of
remember as a
purchase.
kid, I'd be ride my bike down to the local beekeeping supply store, and I'd spend an hour there asking questions.
Hmm.
And it's just like people coming to my store here now. A lot of our viewers won't be close enough to be my local customers here, but I spend a lot of time with my customers, just giving them advice and
Hmm.
saying, you may not need to use it this week, but you want to use it next week. The timing and is very, very important,
Hmm.
and knowing that you're getting the right stuff for the local environment.
Right,
Yeah,
right. It pays to know what you're getting.
yeah.
So,
And then the next step is your bees arrive, and from then on, you're learning the husbandry, how to look after those bees. It's one thing reading about it; it's a whole new kettle of fish if you're actually doing it.
true.
And as wonderful as that experience is, it can also be a little daunting in terms of, am I seeing, is this what I said? This is what it says in the book. That's kind of what it looks like here, but it also looks like this in the book.
Right.
And so having the help and the guidance from that point on is really, really helpful. If you've got a local mentor, terrific.
Absolutely. Yep.
One of the things that we're providing with Beekeeping 24/7 is going to be that sort of local mentor, as if it's a local mentor, but from wherever you are.
Hmm.
And so
And beekeeping clubs are also a great
beekeeping clubs are
resource.
great. No, not everybody either can get to beekeeping
Right.
clubs or find a
Hmm.
local beekeeping club that doesn't involve 50-mile drive.
Right.
But the other thing is, a lot of folks just don't want to go to beekeeping clubs. I'd say so many of my customers, I've got hundreds of customers, but we only have dozens of members in the local clubs.
Hmm.
And so 80% of my customers don't join a club.
Right.
And so, whilst that is a great source of information,
Hmm.
it's probably something that only 10 to 20% of beekeepers actually take
Hmm.
advantage of. They prefer to learn one on one or
Right.
in the comfort of their own home, and that's
Hmm.
fair. Good luck to them.
Hmm.
And that's what we're here for.
Right.
Where your clubs can certainly be a help, and we're not saying don't join a club by all means. Those are going to be great sources of help
Yep.
for you. But we know that we can also help you with it
Hmm.
as you go along.
Absolutely.
And that's really what Beekeeping 24/7 is all about. The We started off preparing for the launch of Beekeeping 24/7. What was it? September we started to make
Yep, we
these
started working
videos.
on it right around then.
And so for 3 months, we were making the videos that I would normally present in a beekeeping class over a course of 4 or 5 hours. But the problem with giving a beekeeping class is that you know you're going to overwhelm your students with information.
Yes.
And so you have to abbreviate everything and dumb it down so that you're giving a simplified version all the way through so that people aren't entirely swamped with information because they hear it once and then that's it. With Beekeeping 24/7, we've broken it up into 12 videos. I would say there's roughly 10 hours of video
Right
in
around
there,
that. Yep.
maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, plus the other videos that we refer to on my YouTube channel as sort of background information, background reading, if you like. That is a lot of information, and the beauty of it being recorded for you is that you can watch it and rewind and go over it again, and rewind and go over it again,
Right.
and refer back to it next year, and refer back to it when something happens, like a swarm or that sort of thing. I think it is all the way through us making it. I was saying, we are making one heck of a good product here
Yeah,
because I've
pretty
been
proud of
teaching
it.
beekeeping classes for 8 to 10 years, and I know that this is right up to date. It's really good information, and it's in far more detail than I've
Right.
ever done before.
And it's broken down and categorized.
Yeah,
So
and so I'm sure it's easy to follow.
it is. And if you're out in your hive, you know, you've got your bees and you're looking at something, it's like, wait a minute, what am I looking at? And you can kind of remember, I think they touched on that class. You can put your hive back together, go back in and re-watch that particular section or that
Yeah.
particular class that you had a question on.
Yeah.
So it's always there for you to refer back to.
That's right. And also, from our initial membership on Beekeeping 24/7, we're getting the comments and the questions.
Yep.
And so we've already followed up with 3 videos that we've made to follow up these questions. And so it's sort of, as well as answering in as near as we can real time right away, we're also doing follow-up videos. So they're getting a lot more information. It's not like your typical beekeeping class. It's certainly something that we are very, very proud of. And just to touch briefly on the topics, we have a lot of topics here. I mean, this is all the stuff that's in the classes I jotted down. We'll not go into the whole thing, but you've got a background class in terms of where to locate your hive and the equipment, etc., the real basics, the biology of the queen and the colony itself, the queen, the worker, the drone, obtaining your bees, where to get them, the pros and cons of packages or nucleus colonies, working with the bees, the skills involved, and what you can expect to see and when you should expect to see it. Now, all of this is going to be in context that we're also there as guides as we go through, because this is all your preparation stage, but we'll also be there when you actually get your bees.
Yep.
And we'll be
right
able
there
to
with you.
answer the questions and taking videos ourselves and showing you up-to-date information there. Other information like what is a honey flow, what is a dearth. These are important changes in the season for your bees. Swarming and the reproduction of colonies, that way how you prevent a swarm, how you capture swarms. They can be a real that's a lot of fun. We could spend days talking about
That's
swarms.
my favorite. Yeah.
The pests, various critters and things can be a pest with the bees, none more so than the parasitic mite. And controlling those mites is the number one issue.
Right.
We spend a whole video dedicated to how mites are a problem and how we control them.
Right.
And this is going to be one of the things that I think our members are going to find the most important part, and I consider the most important part. 90% of beekeepers that lose hives in Maine lose them because of some issue associated with mites. And that learning curve, learning it from basics and things of how to use mite control properly, can take you years. It took me decades to get it right. And this is something that you should be able to benefit from our experience and have it right, hopefully right away in your first year. I've been having 90% survivorship amongst my bees for the last 3 years now. That's what we hope that you're going to start finding by using the skills that we've acquired.
Right.
The national average for keeping bees alive is about 60%. Each year, we're losing more than 40% of colonies throughout the
Right.
country.
Right.
So this is something which I think is enormously beneficial. It's the sort of thing you can learn, but there's a lot of trial and error in
There
learning it
is.
independently. We'll be there and say, this is the week we're checking our mites, and our bees, our samples say treat. Look closely. If yours don't say treat, they'll probably be saying treat soon. That sort of
A
thing.
lot of people have questions on, because when we do mite counts, what number should they be at, and we're going to be able to help guide people through that, and
That's
and
right.
even show them how
Because it
to sample.
varies. It varies.
It
It's
does.
different times of the
Yeah.
year you accept a certain level of mites, and other times of year you accept
Yeah.
very low level of
Yeah.
mites.
So we'll be going live actually into some of the hives. We'll be doing mite treatments and tests and showing people
Yeah,
how to
actually
do
doing
that.
it with you in real time.
Yep, in real time. And again, if you join Beekeeping 24/7, you see something in your hive, you're not quite sure what you're looking at. Once you put it back together, you come in, you shoot us a message, and we're either going to do a video on it to show you what you saw or how to fix it, or we're going to get back to you. By written word, one of the two, but we're going to be right there for you to help you all the way through, right from start to finish.
Yeah. And things that are recorded and put on the site will be able to be viewed and historically go back and watch it again and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. So
Yep.
the real advantage of what we're doing here is that you may have a learning experience which you find great on the day, but you can relive it and go through it again and say, oh, I didn't quite pick that up last time.
Right.
That's what they meant, etc.
Right.
So this is going to be a service that I think no one else, I've not seen anyone else doing anything
No,
like this,
not
and
not quite
I
like
think it'll
this. No.
make it a real impact for folks.
Right.
Just a few more points that the classes will cover: things like honey production and honey harvesting, the preparation of your hives for the winter, the most important stress time for the bees, then getting your bees through the winter, then spring management, the changeover, which we're just about to get to, which we
So
can't
close.
wait.
So
We're so
close.
close. It finally a day that felt like
Yep.
spring's come today, and then getting started with your bees. So all these things, it took us 3 months to do these videos, and we spent several days every day, and then a lot more time, another month editing the videos and things. So we are very proud of it, and we're confident that you're going to find it useful. And certainly, the feedback we've had so far from the folks that have
Right.
joined Beekeeping 24/7 has really been
And there's also
confirmed that.
there's also more to come on that. I mean, we're planning on doing additional classes. There's going to be constant reference material and different videos in there to
Yeah,
address.
because and for a start, it's not really a beginner's class. It's more than that. It's really a basics in beekeeping, but a foundation course, as it were, something that can be built upon and referred back to. There's a lot of folks, I think, that have kept bees for a few months or for a few years or seasons, that are going to find this course that it's not a real beginner's course. It covers some of the
Right.
basics, but it goes into
Right.
more detail as well.
So we've got some comments coming in here. We appreciate that. We've got thank you, Jessica, about my hat. Thank you very much. I love my hat. It's my signature hat. You'll see me wearing it on all the videos.
We're going to get some new hats made.
We are going to get
I
some
need
new
a
hats
hat.
made,
I
but
need a
I
hat.
do love my hat. Gary, you have an issue on where to locate my hive. We would absolutely be able to help you with that. That's actually part of our beekeeping class, and that's we come from very different. Peter's more of a rural setup with his hives. I'm right in the city. There's Peter does an excellent even sketch out in our class and shows you where you can put your hives.
Long and short of it, sunniest location you
Yep.
can, protect it from the wind, and make sure you've got a water source closer than your neighbor's swimming pool.
Yes.
Those are the three big ones.
Those are the big ones, and you don't need a lot of space. A lot of people are they misunderstand. They think, I only have a small area or a small yard. I have mine right in the city. I have 4 hives right in the city. I have a fenced-in backyard, and when people don't know that I have them there, and when they do, they're like, "Oh my God, you have 4 hives right here in the city," and they're very productive.
Yeah,
So
you could be in the backyard and not know the bees are there. The
exactly.
bees take no notice of
Nope.
people.
Nope.
The bees just go about their business. They just fly up into the sky and go and find the food. And
Yep.
that food might be a quarter mile away. It might be 2 miles away. You don't have to have the food for your bees in your own yard.
Right. And small yard and dogs, Gary, I have dogs as well. And I mean, my dog, they don't bother him. And as long as he doesn't go up and stick his nose in the entrance of the hive, and he is, I'll knock on wood a little bit here, he has not been stung. And the bees don't even bother us. We sit right on the back deck and they fly up and out. So
Yeah.
that there's really I have no issues with my dog in a small one. So we got a couple other
Yeah.
questions here. Jessica?
Well, long question.
That is
You
one.
read
All right.
that. One other point apart for the mentoring. One thing that folks should be aware of with Beekeeping 24/7, the membership, which is $37 per month, is something. So basically, you relate it to the price for a bad cup of gas station coffee a day.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It costs less than a cup of bad gas station coffee. You know,
And
keep
I
your
was
bees
just I
alive.
just took Daisy to the groomers, and I realized basically for the cost of keeping a dog groomed in a year, you're keeping your bees healthy. You've got somebody helping you with your bees all the time. The classes themselves are probably worth half that. If you've got a household with 2 people who would have been taking the class, that's $200 you'd have spent taking a beekeeping class somewhere, and basically that's most of your first 4 months. In fact, it's more than your first 5 months of membership. So basically, you really will find it good value for money, and that is currently at the moment membership is only actually open for another 2 weeks
Right.
before we close the doors.
Right.
So basically on Friday, February 25th at midnight, we are closing new membership. So if you're interested in joining Beekeeping 24/7, check out the link below, because we will be
Right.
closing membership.
I'm going to post the link right now.
And after that, the price is very likely to be different when we do eventually open up membership again at some
Right.
point. But right now, our aim is to concentrate on our members, and we're going to be working on that and putting material there. So just a heads up, about 13 days left for joining Beekeeping 24/7. You were going to check something, but what was it?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to post the link to Beekeeping 24/7. If anyone is interested in joining us and joining our membership, I will post a link, and you can click on that, and that'll take you to and give you a little bit more information on how to join.
Right.
And like Peter said, that we've had this up for a little while. We are going to close our doors because we already have people who have joined, and we want to concentrate on them for a while, and we're going to start getting ready for the big busy bee season. Anybody who joins us right now, their membership price will never change.
Yeah.
And that's for the life of however long you stay with us. That will never change. And we really actually kind of depend on these members, these charter members, to help us to develop this. And
Yep.
they ask questions, and we develop content for that, and to make sure everybody's getting exactly what they want.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
I'm
Just
gonna
checking
try
the
again.
questions there. I see Dave Fiaco's asked us didn't ask a question.
Said his colony died.
The colony died with the bees tuck up against one wall with no food in reach. That is so frustrating. It's one of the few things that we do all our preparation for the bees, but sometimes the bees will just move to one side and they'll eat up the food, and they sort of get locked up against one side, and they've eaten all the food between them and the rest of the colony, and they
Right.
get stuck in one side. and then they starve to death. So they literally cannot cross that inch of empty comb. The only way that that can be saved is if you happen to have been in a hive frequently enough and you see that's happening. Then you can actually move frames from one side of the hive to another, which is usually a no-no. But under those circumstances, are the best answer, or the simple one if it's too cold. What I do when I see a cluster on one side is I will take the winter patties and put a bridge across the top of the frame so that there's a food source that they can follow.
Yeah.
That the cluster now reaches both sides. They bridge over that empty comb. And Dave, I'm sure, knows that. Dave's an experienced beekeeper,
Yeah.
but he's just pointing out one of the things that happens to our bees. So thanks for the comment, Dave.
Yeah, and I've lost colonies. I lost one early in the season, and today would have actually up this way would have been a perfect day to do a little lifting to see how heavy the hives are, see if I need to throw some extra food in there or not, and just to check them and see. But you don't want to go through your hives this time of day because it's still quite.
Well, we're gonna have the weather's getting warmer, and now that the snow is melting from around some of the hives, at any rate, they shouldn't be too badly frozen to the platform. So we go out there, heft the hives, and it looks like we've got another day nudging 50 next week. We might be able to get around some of the hives and get some food in there.
Yeah, yeah. One more thing I kind of wanted to touch on about what we're doing with beekeeping 24/7 is we're going to be doing things like certain challenges and fun things for our members to participate in, and we haven't. I'm not 100% sure on exactly everyone we're going to do, but we're going to be doing things like, maybe some like to call it guerrilla gardening and planting wildflowers in places, just spreading wildflower seeds and there's going to be a number of different things that we're going to do, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's not just going to be informative. It's going to be a lot of fun because you get access to our private Facebook page.
That's right.
And that's kind of where the community is going to be, and all the members can talk to each other and ask us questions in there as well.
So I'm sure what we're going to find is our members are joining for the information, but they're staying for the guidance and the community. So we hope you'll be joining us. We've got a limited time left to do so. We look forward to seeing some of you there. I think we're pretty much at the end of the time that we're expecting to stay on today.
Yes.
So join us next week. We'll be talking more about the specific courses of action once you do commit to starting with bees. We'll be drawing on some examples of what folks with guidance and folks without guidance, some of the results. So a really important one next week. So we hope we see you then. I just see one more question just popped up. What is the criteria for removing a bee cozy? Good question. Basically, I keep my cozies on as long as I can until I need to start doing something in the lower brood chamber.
Right.
There's no advantage of taking the cozy off except for the convenience of being able to get at the rest of the hive. So typically, if I'm doing something like a reversal of the brood chambers, which is the first time I usually need to go down there, that would typically be around, last year it was in the last couple of weeks of April.
Right.
Normally it's around the first week of May. The criteria is you have to have a big cluster of bees in the hive, and I would say that the weather forecast is pretty good. By that I mean in the 50s each day. If you're getting days in the 50s each day, then the same sort of criteria that you'll use for reversing brood chambers. You want a big cluster, and you want the weather forecast to be warm, because if they suddenly change the thermal dynamics in the hive and the bees are losing heat faster, instead of having the cluster this big, the cluster has to huddle together and it's this big, and that can leave brood on the outside edges there exposed to dying. And if you have chilled brood, you have a whole cycle of problems taking place in the hive.
And you don't want nights where we're still getting way down low temperatures.
That's right.
It's the nighttime is when they're back in.
Nighttime temperature in the 40s.
Yeah,
we don't want to. There's no hurry to take the cozies off.
I wouldn't have them on in August.
Actually, it would do no harm having the cozy on all year round.
Except getting into your hive.
It's just going to be in the way.
Into your hive.
Just going to be in the way.
Yeah.
And eventually mice will I take them off early enough so that you can keep the life of the cozy as well, because mice tend to chew them up if
Makes a
they're
nice
on
little
for
house.
longer than necessary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. All right, folks. So join us again. We'll be here next week, same time, and we'll go into a little bit more detail. And please consider joining us. It's our goal to be here for new and people even thinking about becoming beekeepers. It's a great hobby. We can't say enough about it, and we're really excited about this beekeeping 24/7, and we want to
Absolutely.
share it with you. So,
We'll see you next time.
all right, you take care. Bye bye. And I can actually shut it off this time.
You can.